Well, my teleprompter took a shit, so if I'm looking this way, don't get upset, people. Welcome everyone to the Wednesday night live show. We have a great show for you guys tonight. I can finally check off the guy that's been at the very top of my list as a guest on the show, Nick. Check.
We finally made it happen.
Yes, it's awesome. Yeah. No, it's been great. You've always been at the very top of that list. Well, number one, to be honest. And also joining us as a co-host tonight, Philip. I'm not even going to do it because I'm nervous and I will butcher Kurtzberg. Bam! I nailed it. Yeah.
Nailed it. Close enough.
Nick, it is absolutely great to see you. I've been reading you for a long time since I met you at the rally in 2019. And, well, it's really great that you're here. Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, look, my pleasure.
And, of course, my amazing co-host team, Tim, Paul, and I'm going to make the other two guys jealous, the wonderful and amazing Allison.
I quit the show. I'm done.
I'm out.
I'm gone. That don't know about these. The wonderful and the amazing and the talented.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're not nice guys. I mean, they're good guys, but they're not amazing and wonderful.
And literate.
Oh, to me they are.
I mean, the big words, just like.
I'm just kidding.
Karma's a bitch, John. Karma's a bitch.
Yeah, I know. It'll come back. It'll come back and get me eventually someday. Tim, we're going to do how our week is going? Tim's going to start it off, and
I'm
go
go
ahead.
Quick because it was very uneventful. Like last week,
Again?
last week I was on business travel where I guess one of my goals during the week is try to figure out what the mystery meat is down in the breakfast hall in the mornings, and then summarily not eat it just because it just freaks you out.
Are you in jail, Tim?
Am I in jail? Well, you would think so with the food they leave you at the hotel. This was not a 5-star. This was a Comfort Inn. So
Comfort Inn.
What do you expect?
Toast. Bagels.
Yeah, I mean, there's no happy person standing behind a griddle ready to scramble my eggs for me. Pretty much powdered something that looks like eggs.
If the meat starts moving across the table, that's when you don't eat it. You don't eat that meat.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want my meat trying to run away from me.
You can't catch it. You don't eat it.
Other than that, normal schmormal. Nothing fancy to report.
Allie, how about you, Allie? Allie got a new book. Allie's got a new book.
I did. I got a new book. Super good book. Everyone should get this book for sure. And my son is in DC at the Presidential Cup for his band. They made the finals and they're performing.
Yeah, baby.
Really? That's outstanding.
Is he on the call mom every hour list?
No,
not yet.
I mean, he's 16. I mean, he's got to text me in the morning, in the afternoon, and then
there you go.
Yeah. He's are much easier. She's still calling now.
Yeah. That's when you block your own kids.
No.
Unfortunately, it's not an option. You kind of have to answer.
Trying not to be too needy. Trying to let him enjoy his time and not freak out too much. So,
that's awesome. That's awesome. And Philip, how's Mr. Phillips' week's going?
It's been an incredibly interesting week in all the ways that are good and bad. And that's all I have to say about that.
He doesn't want to share any more than that.
Context was perfect for that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You want the good news?
Highlight of my week, for sure.
Yeah. Do they still put the pictures of the most wanted in the post office? Is that trend gone?
I don't know. What's a post office?
What is a post office?
Are you asking me what I did wrong? That's not me.
Just kidding. And our guest, Grimm, how is your week going?
Listen, not bad. Not a bad start to the week. I fell on my bike.
Oh,
you did?
That's so dumb. That's I felt like a dumb little kid, I skinned my knee. I fell. I got a Band-Aid on my hand, and it was just in my backyard. It's been raining a lot in LA and cold. And so we had this really nice, warm springtimey day. So I'm out there pulling weeds and blowing leaves. And I'm like, this looks great. I wipe off my bike. I'm riding around the backyard in a little circle.
Oh, is it like
I don't know what happened.
Cruiser?
It's like a street cruiser bike.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. And I just, I was going to park it and I turned the handlebar a little too much and it just It was like abrupt chaos. It's just like
slow motion, right?
Like, fell straight to the ground suddenly. It was like, oh, everything's fine. Oh, suddenly ground. Right?
You felt alone, like you're the only person that ever did this to themselves.
Yeah,
Trust me, you are not.
It felt ridiculous. I come inside. My wife's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Fell off my bike." I'm sitting there bleeding. I'm like, "I got an owie."
Quick, get the Bactine.
Oh, you got to be lucky too. You're just kind of healing up from that arm. So yeah,
I know. I fell on the same arm that I still can't make a complete fist with because my pinky was broken in December.
I need the history of injuries here. How did you the first hand injury? I remember you mentioning something about that. How did you do that?
I did a whole video about it. It was essentially like you
started whining, so I had to cut it off. But
it was the equivalent of like a male temper tantrum. I punched a wall. I punched the wall near my stairs that happens to be built in the 1950s, and it's just 5 inches of plaster and studs everywhere.
It's actually like,
the wall didn't even budge, and my metacarpal broke.
Yeah.
So I went from like a brace to a cast to surgery, back to a cast, and then I finally got the cast off, and I've been doing physical therapy ever since to get like full range of motion back. I still don't quite have it.
Yeah.
So that's been a work in progress, and then I fell on it yesterday.
Yeah. And so you add the Band-Aid to that list.
Yeah, so I have.
So it's the same procedure as people that suffer from carpal tunnel syndrome, isn't it? Basically.
What's that? Physical therapy?
No, the surgery.
Oh, the surgery. You know what? I'm not sure. I know for sure what they did is put the bone back together, and then I had 2 pins going down either side of my knuckle, holding my knuckle in place and the bones in place. And my cast was kind of like this. So my fingers were in a curved position.
Yeah, they isolated.
So it would all heal. So when I got my cast off, I couldn't, it's like, couldn't raise my hands, couldn't do anything, but I'm slowly getting,
you're back. I saw you wick your RDA, so you're back. You're back, Jack. It took a while last week's show, but you got it done. You got it done.
It's not bad. My skills are
you got it done.
Slowly getting there.
Yeah. Paul, how's your week going in sunny summertime Australia?
Look, doing all right. Just trying to get around this flavor ban that they're trying to put in play here, and I've been painting the house, so that's what I've been doing.
Good man, good. That's what you should be doing.
Good way to minimize the frustration.
Australian flavor ban.
We all live such glamorous lives, don't we?
Of course.
Just
this is actually really funny.
Even unironically,
Nick and I now have matching pinkies.
Yeah.
Both right hands.
Hey, you can make sure you finish that word because it sounded like peepees. So I was worried there.
I said pinkies. You goofball.
Well, like Nick, I'm enjoying this beautiful rain that we are getting nonstop here in the Central Valley, and it's just been horrible. Everything's flooded. It's just bad.
Everything's flooded.
It's bad.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Tim, you're back in Atlanta. It's uncharacteristically cold at the moment in Birmingham. We're talking lows in the low 40s, and
we're warmer than that, bro. We're like almost 60 right now.
Yeah, fuck you guys. I'm waking up to 35.
I'm experiencing California cold weather.
Yeah, I got that little app thing on my phone, and it shows me. I'm like, oh, God, look at that. 2 years ago, it was 85 degrees, and now it's 40. Tim, say hello to everybody out there.
What discomfort is.
All right, real quick, we're going to just run down the list. Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Wednesday Night Live Show. Let's say hi to the wonderful chat. We've got plenty of new faces in here. I think I know why, but I'm not going to tip anybody off.
No.
So Mallory Gates, wonderful to see you. How are you? Stu Rep, Pam Spraggin, Zamplebox, Troll, I tell you, Zamplebox, Troll. Charles Shawnee, good to see you. How are you? Hold on, I'm trying to go as fast as I can. I know Eileen Manor, Ethan Manor. God, I said it all wrong. Let me back it up. I owe him a huge
back
apology.
it up.
It's Ethan Mazur. I apologize. I'm trying to read fast. New Wave Dave 69. Any relationship to Wavy Gravy from Woodstock? Just questioning. Just had to ask. Addie Tooney, good to see you. Ray Buildable. I like that name. There's just something about that name that just rolls off the tongue. Who else? We got. Oh, there's Allie. Hold on. We got Rifleman with an extra R.
Yep.
So Rifleman. We got. Who else we got in here? I'm looking. I'm scrolling.
His mom was an English teacher. Remember that, guys?
I did. Did I say hi to Stu?
Yeah,
Rep?
he's
I
just
know
my Canadian.
Yeah. SVK Vapes. Good to see you. J Money Landshark. That's my favorite skit from Saturday Night Live. Knock on the door. Who's there? Landshark. Keep on moving on. Hold on. I'm trying lab works. Another troll. Michael Redfern. Good to see you. Rocco Mack. Wonderful to see you. How are you? Oh God, everything just went blank for a minute there. James Reed, wonderful to see you. No, it like wiped clean, so it had to reload. Richard, I'm gonna go with Head. That's a 3, a backwards 3, but that's usually an E. So Richard Head, good to see you.
You sure that's not the edibles?
No,
okay.
Head with a H, H3D. I said James Reed. Dean T, sick boy, good to see you. There's Richard again. There's Nick Orlando. He snuck in here.
Mr. Orlando.
Being sneaky like he is. Yep. There's somebody named GrimmGreen. Who's that? Tom H. Good to see you, Mr. Tom Harding. Here's another. I already said that one. All right. I think I got everybody.
You got
There's
everybody.
More than I need to name, but anyway. Yeah. Thank you for being here, and
thank you
enjoy
guys.
the show.
Thank you everybody for being here. We appreciate you guys out there in the chat, and most of you guys know Nick already. So I was like thinking, this is me. This is how I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, do I need to have these little boxes here where I kind of put people's Twitter address and it pops up, and I'm like, really, John? It's Nick. It's Nick.
Hey, listen, I'll take all the help I can
Most
get.
people have no idea what my name is. It's Rushmore. I'm like, what?
I go, it's Nick.
Phil.
Do I need to do these?
Actually, Nick, do you like Nicholas, or do you prefer Mr. Green?
Nick's fine. So I have some friends I have some non-vape friends that call me Grim, and then I have vape friends that call me Nick. Then I have vape friends that call me Grim. Yeah, not really anybody calls me Nicholas. You can be the first if you want to try on Nicholas. I'm not against it.
No, I'm curious what your mom calls you, basically, is what I'm curious to know. But yeah Charles loves to refer to you as Nicholas. I was wondering if you had some, insider information.
No, I don't have an objection to it.
All right.
I don't.
All right, real quick, Nick, I'm going to give you 10 rapid questions. 10 rapid questions. Yeah, these are just fun ones that I used to do on my other show. And get ready. Here we go. Okay. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Take it. Give it to me. Not always.
Not always.
As an option, sure.
All right. Your favorite toy growing up, Nick? Tim and Nick. No.
Everything in my childhood kind of revolved around Transformers.
Yeah.
So I remember there was one year in particular I was looking for a Grimlock. He was the Dinobot in the Transformers. Ended up getting Grimlock, and it was I have very vivid memories of I'd tear open the box and you see that grid.
Yeah.
That's it's on the back of every Transformers box, and you're just like, oh, this is a Transformer. There it is. So Grimlock.
Did you save any of those? Now that they're worth a fortune.
I had Grimlock. I had a very wrecked Grimlock for many, many years. And it's probably within the last 10 to 12 years, it's finally disappeared off the face of the earth.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Damn.
Your first job, and did you quit or get fired?
I quit. It's a dumb story. I was working as a busboy at a buffet in Lake Tahoe, because in Tahoe there's casinos, and so that's where most everybody. It's like, well, I'm going to go apply at the casinos.
Yep.
There's any number of jobs there you can do, and so I was a busboy in a buffet because my buddy was the busboy in the same buffet, and we had the same shift. So it was like, we can goof off or whatever. And I did it for 1 year, and I quit. And I quit. I quit to be a a counselor at a Christian youth camp.
Ooh.
If that's, there will be no further questions. That's why I quit. And plus it was a buffet. It was like, I'm like, this is my first job. Like, this isn't my career. I make $4.11 plus tips.
Yeah. Yeah. So you didn't go out with a bang. You didn't like, fuck this job. I'm out of here, you sons of bitches.
He did it right. And
I felt bad because I liked my boss lady, and I got a waitress fired. Because the waitress is supposed to tip out the bus boys, and each bus boy would work like 2 waitress or waiters station. Sorry, wait person station. And Thanksgiving night, we were open at the buffet, and it was generally known as a big money-making night. All the other bussers were like, tonight's going to be a great night for tips. Thanksgiving, people tip big, and you're going to get a lot of tips. And I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be great. And so I busted my ass, and at the end of the night, she ended up giving me like $13. And I went to my buddy David. I was like, David, how much did you make? Because I made $13. And he said, you need to tell Stephanie. And so I went and told Stephanie, and she got fired.
Yeah,
and I didn't feel really bad. I was like, that's messed up. She gave me like $13.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
I believe in service and tipping.
Hey, that $13 at that age is a lot of money, man.
Yeah. Not for busting on a
well, you think about it
on
back.
Thanksgiving in a casino, it was
if you're
really busy.
A waiter, if you're a busboy, you depend on these people to actually honestly tip, out. And wow, that's an abomination.
That's messed up. Yeah. And of course, there were always people that you wanted to be in their section because it's like, we want to be in Carla's section tonight because she's a great tipper and she's great to work. I miss those days a little bit.
Tip pooling.
What was Nick's first car? Everybody,
it was still a car I think very fondly of. It was a stock 1990 Honda Civic hatchback in white. And it was so stock that it was so bottom of the line. It didn't have a stereo. It just had a plastic faceplate with the Honda logo on it right there. It didn't have a side view mirror on the passenger side. Apparently that was optional. It was just nothing. It was just a panel. I thought, okay. And that's what it was. And it was a manual 5-speed. And I loved the shit out of it. It was my favorite thing ever. I drove it everywhere and back.
All right, Nick, your favorite cuss word. You can say it on this show.
My favorite, I don't know. Over the year, it
changes as you get older.
How do you pass on fuck? That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's America's favorite curse word.
I think it's number one. They did a whole show on that word, just that word alone.
Yeah, just that word alone. Yeah.
Well, Deirdre does like to put an M in front of it. But she's the only one who gets to put the M in front of it. I won't say it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I have kids in their late 30s or late 20s and early 30s, and they thought frig was a good way to get away with not saying the F word. So they would always go around the house and go friggin' crap, and I'm like, no, friggin's not going to work.
The same thing. The intent is the same. Yeah.
If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you had done?
I assume I had done, I don't know, probably something vaping related. If there was some sort of real strict crackdown on vaping. And, if I think about it, I'm not trying to incriminate myself, but like, I have felonious amounts of e-liquid in my house. It's crazy to justify 2 people's use of this much e-liquid. It's bonkers. And even giving it away to my patrons, every single week, it just adds up. And I have it, and I've been keeping it for years, dude. I have bottles in here from 2016.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah. Look at the color of this bottle, Nick.
Yeah, exactly. Motor oil just becomes motor oil.
What sport would be the funniest to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to, Nick?
What sport?
Yeah.
Wow. Funny or like
not bike riding in your backyard?
Yeah. Lord, maybe some alcohol would help that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that wouldn't like mortally injure or kill people. Like my first thought was professional wrestling.
God, yeah,
hilarious. I don't know, right? Like that's what everybody says. Some sort of big physical contact sport.
Yeah.
Pool would be funny, but maybe just annoying. I don't know.
Yeah, Allie, I think you said hockey, didn't you? And I thought about that.
God.
I think Allie said hockey when I asked her on the first turn. I thought to myself, shit, can you imagine those guys drunk? It's bad enough on that hockey. Can you imagine those guys were drinking?
I was thinking bocce, and then I thought about your stories about Sicily, and I'm thinking, nah.
Yeah, no bocce. Yeah, they're already drunk. Believe me, I've been to plenty of bocce ball tournaments. And
the first rule of Pillow Fight Club is you do not talk about pillows.
If you were alone in the White House for an hour, Nick, what would you do?
I don't know. Strip down naked, run around.
Yeah, see, Nick thinks just like me. I said the naked thing too. Just run around naked.
Yeah, why would you not want to be naked in the White House?
You wouldn't be the only person ever.
It's your only chance.
If you were held at gunpoint and told if you didn't impress them with your dance moves, you would be killed, what dance moves would you bust out, Nick? And you got to demonstrate it. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
Pop
That's
lock.
Intense. Listen, I have plenty of dance moves. I have plenty of made up dance moves as well. There's one, listen, this is a dance move that literally everybody can do. And all you have to do is pretend that you have glitter in your hands and you're just throwing it on yourself. That's it. And you can like throw it on other people. You can throw it in the air and blow it around. It's real easy. It's low effort dance floor maneuvers.
All right, last one. The first song you remember learning all the words to, and could you sing a few bars of it?
The first song I ever learned a few.
All the words to. All the words. Everybody's got
all
that.
the words to.
Yeah. Don't go. I was going to go with one of those old kids songs. Ring Around the Rosie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, that would count.
It would count, but I don't want that one. I want like a song that was on the radio. Yeah.
I can't even think right now. Maybe Ice Ice Baby. I think that was
there. You go.
Literally all the lyrics to. Sure.
No regrets. No regrets.
Yeah. Rolling. Yeah. Exactly. I think of them right now.
No matter what.
That song was impossible not to learn all the words to it. I mean, it was just, that was one of those songs.
That song got me like.
Yeah, we'll get serious now. You've helped so many people over the years, whether it's been properly setting up coils or wicking a specific RTA or battery safety, and of course, advocacy. Was there ever a moment in the last 11 years where you sat back and thought, holy shit, I did all this?
No, not really. I try not to, I don't know. I try not to do that. When I make videos, or like if I shoot a video, I always shoot videos like I'm shooting videos for like 1,000 people, you know? I just have I like a small community. I try not to, I don't know. I try not to bother myself with stuff like that. The one time I did, I don't know what you would call it on this show. Cannabis. I don't know if you have a special word for it.
You can say pot, weed, anything.
In my circles, we say shed time. We say we're having some shed time out in the shed, you know.
Yeah.
So I had some shed time, and I was alone in my house, and my wife was at work. She was at a show, and so I was alone, and I had plenty of shed time, and I was listening to music, and I got out my phone, and I started recording myself talking about like GrimmGreen and how I started it, and just like talking. And the more I talked about it and thought about it, my brain was like processing it. This video will never see the light of day, but I'm like sobbing. I'm like sobbing to myself, like thinking about this. Like I was on the cover of a magazine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 84 million views. I mean, you got to eventually reflect on that. I mean, that's not a normal number.
That's a fake number. That's
fake. Damn YouTube. Damn fucking YouTube. Nick's gonna go. No, it's 84,323,236
numbers. Yeah, rounding way up.
That's total throughout all videos across.
That's when I took these numbers for yesterday. It's the day before yesterday, so there might be another 1,000 on there for. I just when I see those numbers and I see those numbers and I compare those numbers to other channels, and I always wondered, do these guys ever get a chance like yourself to kind of just sit back and reflect on that number and the amount of work that you put into this channel, and it's 11 years. It's 11 years of your life.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that video better come out soon.
In 09. That's kind of bananas. Yeah. It's been a long time. And, the only time I really ever thought about numbers was you don't think about numbers when everything's great and you're growing, you know? So for years on end, you're growing at a pretty steady rate. Sometimes you have some spurts, sometimes you don't. And you kind of just think, well, I guess what I'm doing is working.
Yeah.
I guess this is working. People are subscribing and watching. Here we go. I guess what I'm doing is working. And then the first time that there's like a hiccup, that's when you start actually like really paying attention to, okay, well, where are my subscribers coming from and what's their age demographics? And, you start like really looking into it. And, without going into too much detail, there was a time in 2020 where it was right after Ivali. I blame a lot of it on Ivali, but it was right after Ivali. I just started like losing subscribers consistently.
Yeah.
Consistently. And it like, set me into just anxiety attacks. Like, oh my, just consistently for about a year. And then in the summer of 2021, every year I take a little bit of a sabbatical in the summertime. It's about 2 weeks off. I call it the summer of Nick, just to whatever. I'm not going to be here for 2 weeks. Everybody will be fine. I'll see you on the other side. It's like my whatever summer of Nick time. And so I was in the backyard. I had some shed time and I was thinking, and I made some changes to my YouTube, and it took like, I don't know, nine-ish months or something like this. It was a long time. But then I gained some subscribers.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like, I turned this dip around, and I have a screenshot saved on my computer of this little dip that I was like, I felt, there's no manual for this. I didn't sign up to do this. I didn't think I'd ever do this. It's like in 8th grade, they don't say, so do you want to be an influencer for vape products on YouTube?
Where do I check that box?
Yeah. What?
There's no way to navigate those waters.
Yeah. It makes no sense.
I have a question. Do you think at that time, if you were anything like me, you were just perplexed, confused, and extraordinarily, I was not my best self when Valley was going on. And I think that probably was something that was very easy to sense in people that I was around, and people that don't vape or care about any of this stuff didn't understand. And I was wondering, do you think that any of that dip might have been you were emanating a certain just negativity because you just couldn't answer the absolute just catastrophe that was going on?
And, I mean there was a lot going on, and I don't know what the stem of it was. There's just, if you say 2020 or Ivali to people, it's like, oh God, Christ, like
we decided
the worst time ever possible for everybody, no matter what, because of whatever, for whatever reasons. Yeah, I mean,
the vape depression.
We all went back into the closet. Well, I'm going to throw it up to Tim. Tim's got some questions for you. So, Tim, you're on.
Well, I'll start off with one. So, obviously, I mean, we don't have to get into the minutia of it all, but we've been challenged with a lot of changes in the last decade. With regard to vaping, more recently, starting in around 2019, where it really the faucet got turned on. But we reminisce a lot about the past, and the vape industry in general. We talk about it quite a bit, and in hindsight, we look back and we recognize things that we think might have maybe helped to, tilt the scale a little bit, maybe out of our favor. But if you could go back 10 years into vaping, where you could be way ahead of the curve at that point, when we were still dealing with a lot of nubile devices and things that weren't like they are today, what's one thing, if you had the foresight at that time, what's one thing that you could have changed about the progression of vaping that might have changed things today?
So I would have, I'm just going to blow someone just into the ground right now. Demetrius Agrafiotis, I would have done exactly what he did, and I would have encouraged everybody in every state to start a smoke-free association in your state.
Yeah.
Because he did in 2011, I think it was, 2012, very early on. There's not been a flavor ban in Tennessee. There's never even been a flavor ban that's made it to a vote in Tennessee, because Dimitri started the Tennessee Smoke-Free Association, got to know every lawmaker and legislator, had a personal relationship with them, educated them about vaping and flavor bans and science. And in Tennessee, there's no flavor bans. And I think about that and I go, Demetrius was right, is right, and did it correctly. I think a lot of the vape industry spent a lot of years, and I say this, and I've been honest with myself about it, focusing on some pretty dumb shit and the wrong things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was privy to it myself. And if I could do it over, I would do it much more like Dimitri did.
Okay. Yeah.
Allie.
So, I've been in the industry for 11 years. And when I started in the industry, I was running a store, same company I work for now, just, in the front end, every single person that came in the store was quitting smoking, and new devices would come out and we'd just kind of get dropped off to our store in a box, no explanation of how it works. So I watched your videos, and that's how I could explain to customers how to use these devices. So, and I used to have your videos playing in the store, and you taught me a lot. And because there really was no map, there was a book inside, but there really wasn't. And there really, at that time, really wasn't a lot of people explaining these brand new devices. I think it was like the Kanger Tech, like the first, variable voltage. And I'm like, how the hell do I use this? How do I sell this? So I'm watching your videos. So thank you so much for years of education. In terms of, YouTube and everything, how do you feel? Do you think that tide is turning? Do you think it's starting to get a little easier? The guidelines are a little bit more clear and you can follow them without really getting into any trouble? It's still a shit show.
Yeah, for the most part, they seem to be pretty arbitrary, and they change frequently. And when they do change, we don't always get clarification. And
so it's kind of like the FDA.
Yeah. The parallels are really, it's really bananas. It escalated from, I got a warning. I couldn't give you exact dates on that. There's been way too much time for that. But I did get a warning where YouTube warned me because I had a link in the description to somewhere where you could buy nicotine products. I thought, okay, that's bad. Obviously, that's the new rule change. I'm going to go through my 1,200 videos. I had one of my patrons do it, willingly do it, not under any duress or anything like that. He was willing to do it. So we got rid of every link in every description, and we were like, okay, we're good. And then with no warning, I got a strike on a video for showing the web address on the screen. Yep. And I said, that wasn't communicated to me in any way. I got a warning for a link in a description. So it escalated from that to on the screen to if you show the web address on a box to if you show a QR code to now if you verbally say a web address, you can get a strike for that.
Wow.
Didn't they flag videos of yours that were, almost 7 years old?
Yeah, very, very old. Before the rules existed. Yeah, they went way far back. You have to retroactively be either delete the videos or be compliant with the new rules.
Yeah. And you explained this in a way that made me just absolutely nuts. And I remember how you were somewhat close to being, well, I guess, if not banned, but having to, leave YouTube. And I thought to myself, well, that can't happen. It was really nice how, social media rallied at that point. But it was
without Twitter, it wouldn't have happened.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I literally, I had to take off there's no more videos on Zapplebox's page, and some of those were great videos. You know, the old people sharing their stories, and a lot of battery safety videos. All those videos are all gone because there were links, and I wasn't. You know, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to. So I put them all in private. So if they want to go and look for them, let me know.
Ping you on private videos too, though.
Yeah. Hopefully they leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Do we have?
I don't want to put that out into the.
Philip, you got a question? Got a question, Philip?
Okay, question.
Okay.
He was not ready.
Deep breath, Philip.
What at this current moment about the industry do you think is going well? What do you think people are doing well? Rather, what do you think advocates are doing well, and what do you think we can stand to improve upon? Just something.
Nick almost left the room with that question.
Hey, today the FDA actually approved over-the-counter Narcan, which
that is a big deal.
Big.
That is
Let's just say that to me that means quite a lot.
Yeah, that is a big deal. That is a real big deal. If you're in the harm reduction space, that's a big deal. Sure. What's going well in vaping? The thing that's going well in vaping, I think, is vaping. It still works. People are still quitting despite everybody's best efforts. It's become a lot more difficult, and there's been a lot of bad messaging. But I think that the idea that vaping works, and we know it works, we've seen it work, and it continues to work, and more people switch, I think is what's going well.
Let me rephrase really quick. That PMI video and leave Amanda the fuck alone was one of the great things that you've ever done. Not for anyone, for everyone, because it explained how these things, two things can be true at the same time. You can, be less than a fan of big tobacco companies, but you must see the larger picture in terms of helping people quit smoking and transition. Sure. And Amanda's earned her spurs and deserves some, a few resources. That being said, I think that what you did was communicate a really important message to a hell of a lot of people that needed to hear it. So I'm grateful for that. I am.
Yeah. People are making a big deal out of it, and it was literally hurting my brain. And
just really.
Well, I want to add something to what your question about the good points in vaping, and one of the things I think of is that it's got to piss them off to see that number continues to grow. No matter what they do, no matter what they try, whatever misinformation is out there, our numbers continue to grow, and I know they see that. They have to see that. Yeah. So I think to me as a vapor and someone that's advocating for this community and industry, I think that's amazing to see that number constantly continue to grow.
100%. And honestly, all you need to do is look at youth smoking.
Yep.
Oh, that's how vaping works. Yeah, really well. Okay. Yeah.
When I graduated,
it's illegal for them. That's how well it works, and they all quit smoking with it.
Yeah.
It's
our Australian
counterpart.
He's typing something over there.
Australian delegation.
You're up there, Paulie.
Okay, Nick. On your travels around the world, how do you see advocacy in the different regions that you've visited, especially at some of the bigger vape shows? What do they do right and what do they do wrong?
I don't know. You can hear the gears turning in my head. In the UK and the such as in vape shows, there's always the UKVIA booth, and advocacy in the UK. Let's be honest, it's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's the UK, so they do it well, and everybody's informed, and everybody knows the rules, and their rules are easy, and some of them are arbitrary, but at least they're easy, right? When I was in Germany last, we were on the precipice of a really big tax, so people were stocking up on e-liquid at this show, like before this really huge tax takes place on e-liquid, and like, you know, Canada's everything, like ruins all of the e-liquid. And the consensus when I talked to people seemed to be like, I hope it changes. Like, I hope someone does something about it. Like, I hope it changes. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I hope so too. That sucks. I mean, I don't know who's in, you know, I don't keep tabs on like world vape stuff, but it seems, I hope something changes. At least that's how it was in Germany. And I mean, it's different everywhere. If you go to Dubai,
yeah,
it's a completely different story.
Only recent spoken to people in Dubai. Apparently, things run differently there.
Well, I traveled there, and at the time it was banned, and I didn't bring anything with me for fear of having it confiscated at customs on the way into the country. But then you got in, and then you would see people with it in their hand all the time. So, you know, outside of getting a scimitar to the throat, I'm like, I'm just not going to take my chances. You know, I'll just stay away from it now. But I guess to tether onto that, Nick, is it that these countries that are kind of facing their own challenges with regard to vaping, because not everybody is, you know, amenable like the UK?
Yeah.
Is it that they don't have a handle on how to go about advocating and changing some of the government's decisions about how they want to apply the laws towards vaping, or they're just in that hopeful space, like, there's nothing we can do. It's our government.
No, I mean, I think there's always, like, don't get me wrong, there's advocacy groups literally everywhere I've ever been, and places that I haven't been. You know, there's people prolifically vaping in countries where it's very illegal to vape. Thailand.
Yeah.
The vape scene in Thailand is blowing up. A bunch of vapors on YouTube from Thailand just followed me on YouTube, and they're like, trickers and cloud chasers and builders, and like Thailand's going off like the US was in like 2017. It's bananas. And it's completely illegal there.
Yeah.
Right.
But they still have this flourishing vape space. It's, you know, it's ridiculous.
Thailand
And then,
was caning not too long ago.
what's that?
I think I think they were caning vape offenders.
Were they really? Oh yeah, that could very well could be
about that. It was it wasn't exactly like, you know, hey, stop vaping. It was like, we're going to smack you with this stick, and that was not cool.
That sounds like Catholic school. Yeah.
I had to look it up. I didn't realize there was such a thing as caning. I thought to myself, caning.
Hey, that
Singapore does the same thing.
That bamboo hurts. That bamboo
I think of like
hurts.
House MD. That's painful. I mean,
yeah. That's
said, I mean, I guess.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, who's to say what you're willing to endure, not to, you know, kill yourself very for a lot of money. It's I don't know what cigarettes cost in Thailand, but they can be cheap.
They're very, very cheap, and I've got a lot of friends in Thailand, and I actually spoke last year to friends that I met in the Philippines at a harm reduction forum. And these guys, hopefully with the change of government and with changes within the health system over there, they're actually going to overturn the ban within Thailand and open the industry up. After cannabis was legalized there's a much bigger push behind the scenes for the government to actually overturn the ban. They've seen the benefits now, and there are some doctors that are actually seeing the flow-on effect of what we've been doing for all these years.
Yeah.
It's very different.
So are they truly on the precipice of coming around and making this a regulated, available product?
Yes.
Well, I guess the other part to that though is what about some of those countries who subscribe to the FCTC? I mean, if they kind of, I would imagine their health ministers probably follow their guidelines, right?
Well, the health minister in Thailand, he's completely corrupt. That's for a start. And then you've got corruption. You've got corruption from, you know, the top down over there. And people, I've got a lot of friends over there that vape, and I'm part of a couple of Thai vape groups throughout social media. But hopefully now that they're seeing the benefits, and after what's gone down in the Philippines, hopefully they're going to take that type situation or some of those policies that we've been working on for years in the background. Hopefully they'll take them on board.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that can happen over there.
Slayer!
Yeah.
Here we go.
Records was rated
Hey, Nick, being a resident of this wonderful state of California, Nick, and let's be honest, don't get mad, everybody out there, but the home of vaping, let's be honest, California, the home of vaping. Is there any hope left to turn things around here with this current administration, or are we looking at some really dark times here in California?
I don't know. I don't know. We have to vote soon in California, and I don't know. You know, traditionally, it's blue progressive states that get behind things like harm reduction and things like safe injection sites, needle exchanges, these things, you know, general harm reduction. And so logic dictates that California should be one of those progressive front runner states of harm reduction. And I think we just, I don't know. I feel like we could get there.
Yeah. I mean, it took Washington a couple of years, but they finally opened their eyes and seeing the benefits of vaping there and kind of changing things. So I'm hoping eventually that's something, because it's like my son. My son vapes. I have all this e-liquid here at this house, like you do, and he doesn't want any of it. He still wants to go to the vape shop. He still wants to get his stuff. And he comes back, and after all the shit I told him that was going on and make sure to vote and do all this other stuff, he comes back and goes, man, I had to order my stuff at the shop at another state to have it delivered to my house. But he goes, I want to help him out. He's being a good, he wants to help out the local vape shop. And he's continuing to do that to go get his stuff. So he goes in there, uses their computer, logs into their thing to order e-liquid and his disposables to be sent to his house. So he's making sure that guy's still making some money. What I'm scared of is some of those shops, that not the shops, but the manufacturers down south, eventually saying, well, we're fucking out of here. We're done.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
I was under the impression that the manufacturing is still legal.
There's a lot of manufacturers that are down south that are producing a lot of e-liquid that eventually are going to say, you know what, this ain't worth it. I mean, and just continue to move further east. Arizona, well, not Utah.
It's tobacco country.
Yeah,
that's like it's named Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
It's one of the few perks of living in Alabama. I assure you, very few.
Yeah, are there? I hear the food's good there.
Great. If you leave Birmingham, you might find, you're going to find all kinds of things you're not going to ever want to see.
I'm going to be in Birmingham, Alabama in September, bro. Furnace Fest.
I am here for you.
Everybody awesome from my teenage years that I want to see.
So is it a hardcore fest?
Yeah, it's hardcore fest.
White Stripes and Tenacious D at Sloss Fest, two of the greatest shows I've ever seen. So.
Oh yeah, see, I have not seen either of them.
Timmy,
it's a great venue.
All right, so I actually wrote down a bonus question in case
question.
I have an interesting questioning line for you, Grim. We'll do that one later. I don't want to spoil the fun too early. No. So obviously, as vapors, advocates, consumers, everybody who's in the vapor space, I mean, we're all over Twitter all day long. We're all lobbing commentary left and right. And then we're constantly, or what feels like, well, it is, we're at war with, the government and health organizations and stuff like that. Obviously, those are the primary nemesis individuals that we have to fight with. If you could look into that side of the argument, the banners and the ain'ts and stuff like that, is there anyone you identify as an unlikely ally, not an unlikely ally from the governmental space? I mean, do you see anybody from within maybe looking at things a little bit differently? I'm not talking about the Amanda Wheelers. Obviously, she came from one space and she's continuing her work there. I'm talking about, at the government level. Are there any unlikely allies, or maybe someone who is positioned to think about things differently?
I can't, I don't know. I don't think so. There's been one person on Twitter who I've been trying to slowly work on, and she is Ruth. You're familiar with Ruth Malone?
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to be real nice to her because we agree on so many things. I like her Twitter feed when she tweets about like protected bicycle paths. I'm like, yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on the 15-minute city. Like, we agree on so many things. We just don't agree on vaping for tobacco harm reduction. But I think we could agree on that.
Right.
You know.
Is she still editor-in-chief of Tobacco Control Journal? Or
yes.
Yes. Okay. She was part of the not prohibition, abolition of tobacco movement. And we can, I've noticed you pointing out your similarities, and I too have felt that way about Ruth. We do have some things in common.
Yeah.
When it comes to tobacco harm reduction, she just absolutely, it's like a different person appears, and everything, all of her values that seem to add up to supporting tobacco harm reduction just become, it's like she just starts drinking a lot or not drinking. But the truth is for like, Carl Phillips, Dr. Carl Phillips, for many, many years, used to joke with her very impressively about how I will stay on Twitter until the day you realize you are me. You're just not thinking.
Yeah. Right.
And I agree with what you're doing. I think that these people will not. I think the people that really want to help will see themselves in the mirror eventually and notice that maybe they're not helping as much as they could be.
Right. Like, or that they could even be hindering progress.
Trying to keep it positive, Nicholas. We're trying to keep it.
You got to get there at some point.
Yeah.
Allie. I think it's mind blowing how they can be so right on so many things and so wrong on tobacco harm reduction, and it's like they're in the same wheelhouse. It's the same thing. They're just
it's like
not
you're almost
accepting
there.
of it. It's very frustrating because it's like, how are you so right on this stuff?
They're all geniuses until we talk about vaping, and then they're just like, "Get away! Look at this! I don't know where am I."
Yeah.
That's just before they block you.
Yeah.
Well, I try not to get blocked.
That was rude, man.
Then you're like, oh, I can no longer comment.
Well, I mean, I've been blocked by association. I haven't even said anything, and then I'm like, oh, I'm blocked too.
They just saw your name and said, fucking block.
I asked Simon Chapman, I shit you not, can we all have a civil conversation, please? That was 18 years ago. That was 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. That's what I said. Boom. Yeah. Goodbye.
Block.
I've never seen Simon Chapman's tweets.
Well, I have to see them.
Never seen
them. He's a terrible person.
I'll send you some screenshots, Nick, because that person, I've been going backwards and forwards with him since 2014, and he still won't listen.
But he's not ever.
I've seen some screenshots that people like Alex Wodek and Colin Mendelsohn will repost screenshots. I see some of his lunacy, and I read some of his pieces that he writes.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's worse than that. He's actually a really horrible person for some of the things he's done. He's taken, people who are PhDs working in tobacco harm reduction and doxed them. And it's just unbelievable things that he's done. But that being said, this is one of the people that we don't need to work on. I don't even. Bye-bye.
Yeah, some of them are just a lost cause, unfortunately.
Yeah. But he actually came out of retirement recently. Okay, he was semi-retired at the University of Sydney, and where he's been coming from now, it's a very, very dark place, and no one can really understand why he's doing what he's doing. And we're now finding out that he's got a few journalists in his back pocket that he's helped train in public health. But obviously what they're teaching at the university now, it shouldn't be on the curriculum, point blank. That's how it works, And
those who don't know, you're talking about Melissa Davey, I would think.
No, there's a handful of others now as well. And the problem is whenever you hit any of these guys with a real science question, and they say, well, can you back up your statement or your facts? You give it to them, and they look at you as if you're an alien, as if, well, this can't be true.
Yeah.
Well, it is true, you dickhead. Figure it out and pull your head out of your ass.
But there are a couple of independent researchers in Australia right now putting out some really good, papers. I think there was someone who self-funded a look into e-cigarettes and the Australian blah blah blah, smoking rate, and pointed out, hey, we've had the same adult smoking rate since the 80s. Maybe this would help.
But when you have the AMA, or the Australian Medical Association, and the RACGP, Royal Australian College of General Practitioners, come out and state that the smoking rate is at 10.7, we have proof to show them that it's actually 12.8, and in lower socioeconomic, it's up to about 14, 15%. And they won't take those figures on board. So they're completely disregarding the Indigenous community here and the lower socioeconomic. They don't want to know what's going on. It's bad.
Yeah. Allie, question. You're up.
Okay.
Thanks,
I don't know. So you moved platforms a little bit. Well, we sharing platforms now. You're doing Twitch as well. Do you find that that's an easier platform to stream on, or is it less demanding? Are there less, rules and regulations than you deal with on YouTube?
I mean, no, not really. There are. I don't know. I haven't run into any problems on Twitch. That's what I'll say about Twitch. Twitch has been completely hassle-free. I've run into zero problems on it. I still really like it as a platform, and it's not even something I could even put into words. It's just streaming. When I do a stream that's just on Twitch, just feels different. Yeah. And I don't know why.
You're relaxed. You're a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, that could be what it is. I don't know what it is.
Feel like you're able to be, more yourself. And
maybe there is some pressure that comes with the streaming on the YouTube, but I find Twitch to be, a little bit more chill, I guess, a little bit more fun. It's just got a different feel to it, and I like it, and it's fun. And it was there for me, when I got my third strike on YouTube, and I thought I would never get my YouTube back. I was like, okay, well, let's go stream on Twitch. And Twitch was there for me and didn't let me down. And, it's good. And, when I talk to people about it, people really like the Twitch chat. Apparently that's, it's a fun chat to use, be in, better than YouTube, something like that. People really like
it's anything worse than YouTube.
Yeah. So we had good times on chat on Twitch.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah. And I still like it.
I like it.
Both. Yeah.
Yeah, I like being on there. I was told I needed to be more careful and not be caught vaping on the stream, and I'm like, well, I'm an adult.
Really? Oh, I'm
an adult
all over that stream. I mean, I marked my Twitch stream as mature, but
mature, yeah.
I vape all over it.
Yeah. Philippe, you're up, buddy.
All over.
And you're French now.
Philippe.
Philippe.
He's French Canadian. So he could be French.
French, Canadian, Jewish, Alabama. I'm in trouble. Help me.
He's everywhere, baby.
Do they have poutine in Alabama?
If he gets sent to prison, he wouldn't know where to go. He'd be just standing in the middle going, I don't know.
I would be the guy with all the bologna sandwiches, and I would trade them for, I don't know, protection, or I don't know.
You'd be the guy selling the disposables, right?
I was going to say.
I'd be the guy that you'd want to know.
You want to know.
You want to know. Let's just say that I don't ever want to be in a position where I want to. Okay, so
how'd you sneak those disposables in, Phil? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
the old-fashioned way. I live in Alabama, and
how many L4s in a prison Molotov?
I've done a great deal of painfully guilty research into disposables recently, and it's been enlightening on several levels. Mostly how easy it would be to offset the environmental waste factor, and what a terrible thing that it is that we're not doing those things, or rather we're not able to do those things. But in the meantime, there are a lot of people that are using disposables. My mother, for example, has been a on and off smoker her entire life. And she's well into her 70s. And let's just say I've been giving her thousands of dollars in vaping gear forever.
Yeah.
Only recently did I realize, well, you don't want to give her anything that, has up, down button screens and, coils and things of that nature. I mean, I was never as bad as to give her something that like a, RDA, but I gave her a few things that maybe I shouldn't have or should have rethought. And here we have, Elf bars and Lost Mary and this and that. Next thing I know, she's actually using the Juicy Peach that I gave her. That is a phenomenal. Well, I'm just saying that's
nice.
Been workout forever, and this is the first one that she's actually. I will look at them and see if she's been, charging it, how much charge left. So I guess what I'll ask you is that even in Alabama, we're getting some letters apparently from the FDA CC Reynolds. For vape shops around here who are getting warnings about selling I guess mostly disposables. I mean, because
they're coming from RJ Reynolds' lawyer. Yeah.
They are actually coming from that.
Yeah.
I don't know, Nick, what do you think that my instinct is to ignore that?
I mean, I don't want to give any advice, but yeah, sure.
Well, it's just these are reputable shops that do it right, and they're getting these letters, and of course they ask me. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what's going on, Christ. Yeah. But the truth of the matter
is, a lawyer.
Well, no.
It's a scare tactic. It's not an actual lawsuit. It's just a way to scare them into pulling their products from the market because of that damn registry that they have with everything that's approved registry of Alabama.
What was your favorite Nick, was it The Vacation of Nick, The Summer of Nick?
Summer of Nick.
Summer of Nick ever, man.
Best. The last Summer of Nick was pretty hard to top, just because I went back home and went up to Tahoe and visited with my mom for a while, and then I went to Reno and visited with my brother. And while I was in Reno, I got to get tattooed by my old buddy Mark, who's done a lot of tattoos on me. So I got to hang out with him and bullshit and get tattooed. And then that night, his new band, Weight of the Tide, was playing like, a dumpy Reno basement of a bar show. And I was like, this is perfect. Like, this is exactly what I need right now is a dumpy Reno under the bar show. So we went and saw a metal show, and it was great. And I got to hang out with my brother, and it was great. And, I just had a good time. I like going back home. Lake Tahoe's paradise. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did you grow up on the California or the Nevada side? I don't know.
I was born on the California side, and then I went to school on the Nevada side, and then I lived on the California side after that. And then I lived in Carson City, Nevada, and then I was briefly in Reno, Nevada. And then I was in Dayton, Nevada for a while, and I don't want to talk about that. But all over that area, but like many years in California. I probably spent 15 years of my adult life in California before going back to Carson. Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool area. I like growing up there.
Nothing like most people associate with California. I mean, that's just mountainous and gorgeous. I mean, you could really be in some places. Parts of it look like the Swiss Alps. It's incredible
when it's not raining,
and
when it's not snowing
in the United States. So
even the homeless are getting tired of the rain, and they're starting to pack up and get out of California.
Don, you're starting to sound very British. Okay.
It's bad. It's bad. Hey, I feel like I'm in London right now. I mean, it's just nonstop. It's nonstop. Don't shake your head. Mr. Summer over there, Paul, in Australia. Yeah. Show us the sunshine.
Summer.
Got sun. He's got 89-degree sunshine blasting through his window over there.
Yeah, the weather might be nice, but something right outside your door can bite your fucking ass off.
Yeah. Something good.
Paul, you got your question, Paul. You're up, my friend.
All right, this has nothing to do with vaping or advocacy.
Uh-oh.
Your taste in music is actually very wide.
It's all over the place.
Okay, when you were younger, what were your influences, and why did you sort of go down the metal pathway more and that form? Why didn't you go into any of the other genres?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't want to say that's a weird question. It's just a hard question to answer. My first exposure to music was like my dad listening to The Doors and The Who. And so I got into like classic rock, whatever. You listen to what your parents listen to. I listened to like classic rock and things like that. And then I remember getting into like R&B, like Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah.
Hammer, Vanilla Ice. I really loved that.
Pump that jam.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
I don't know if you remember the CNC. They were a music factory.
Yep.
But CNC Music Factory hit with me. I loved the shit out of that. And then, I don't know exactly what happened. I think Queensryche Empire album came out, and I saw the Empire video, and I went, "Oh, hello, what are you?" And I went and bought Van Halen, the For Unlawful album, and I bought Queensryche Empire, and I was like, "This is amazing," and I loved it, and I just loved Queensryche, and I went and I joined the BMG record club. I went and bought all old Queensryche albums.
Operation Mindcrime is one of the
Operation Mindcrime, so good.
Rock albums of all time.
Yeah. Love
Did you ever get into industrial, like industrial electronica and things like that?
Not like, so I have an interesting story, but not like mainstream. Okay, so some mainstream industrial, but only like Ministry. That's it. It was like Ministry was the mainstream at that time. For a very long time of my life, I was an avid member of my church, and so I didn't really listen to any non-Christian music. And so if you want to talk about Christian industrial bands, I could sit here all day, and we could talk about Chatterbox or Clank or Circle of Dust or Argyle Park, and I loved all of them. And they were all great.
It was not a Christian industrial band, right?
Ministry was not a Christian industrial band.
No, far from.
Yeah, far from.
They were.
What about Front 242?
No.
9 Inch Nails, early stuff.
Some 9 Inch Nails, yes. 9 Inch Nails for sure.
Man, I was the only one that grew up listening to Tony Orlando as a kid, or what?
Iron Maiden, Metallica,
with me.
Slayer.
Yeah.
Okay, of the hardcores, okay. I was a huge Iron Maiden fan before I was ever into like REM or Guadalcanal Diary, any of that crap that nobody knows about, or like the Hoodoo Gurus, or
Gurus are Australian. They're brilliant.
God bless. There's so many great Australian bands that actually I listen to. I guess you'd call it college radio, Tuscaloosa. It was that REM kind of DBs, Let's Action, Revolution, B-52s. But I was, when I first heard Master Puppets, I thought to myself, this is really different, man.
Master Puppets.
I mean, I'd been listening to everything from Scorpions to Maiden to, some of the more aggressive, just like old school heavy metal. Right. Sure. And, Ozzy, of course. And then I heard Master Puppets, and I thought, I don't know if I like this, but I'm not going to let anyone else listen to it with me for a while just so I can see what's going on here.
I might hate this.
But as a guitar player, I listened to that intro of, Battery until it got just insane. And I thought to myself, wow, this is incredibly well, composed. It's just, anyhow, of those bands, who would you say, or Mustaine or Iron Maiden or any of those, which one would you say is your favorite? Heavy.
As a band, of the big four, I think I'm a Metallica fan, to the bone. I just love the hell out of Metallica.
Best concerts.
It's unreal how much I listened to Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master Puppets. It was it was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
But on the same side of the same coin, I don't celebrate all of like the Megadeth discography, but I think Rust in Peace is just a masterpiece, and I can listen to it anytime, any day. Give me Hangar 18, give me Lucretia, give me all of it. I love Rust in Peace. I think it's just perfect. It was like prime Dave Mustaine. He just sounded good, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, Marty Free. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. Heavy music for me was Sonny and Cher. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Cher can actually do anything.
I grew up with 2 Italian parents from Italy, so it was Frank Sinatra. It was all those Dean Martin. I had to grow up listening to all that stuff. All right, I'm going to go back to vaping with you.
On some Dean Martin.
Here you go. with the disposable market, yeah. I had a troubled childhood with all the disposables out there and the functionality and the simplicity of them, and most of them being with the auto draw. And a lot of people like that feature of not having to push a button, not having to change wattage, not having to do anything. Do you see that moving into the open system eventually with some of the hardware where there aren't going to be no more screens? It'll be the chip will read the ohms of the coil and adjust it, and you can maybe go soft, hard, or harder. Will you see that making it a little bit easier for people to make that transition and try to get them away from the disposable market?
Yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately, right, like one thing I said since the beginning is we want to make vaping as accessible as possible. Right? The ease of lighting a cigarette is great, and it's easy, and it's fun. It's a little ceremony, but make vaping as easy as possible, and people will switch like crazy. So yeah, I mean, make vaping as easy as possible. And it's hard to predict just because the market wants what the market wants. Right. So for years on end, everybody wanted was sub tanks with quad coils on the inside, It's like, that's not going to last forever. Yeah. Maybe it'll come back at some point, or, there's still sub tanks being sold. I know.
Yeah. What is Smock up to now? Version 79 or?
Yeah, the baby beast.
Baby brother, baby cousin.
Kind of ridiculous. So it's just hard to predict. It's whatever the market wants is what the market wants. And
well, the reason I bring that up is because I've talked about this before on the show. It's just seeing veterans like us that have been, I'm almost 12 years. So seeing veterans like us kind of transition back towards those disposables, it just seems like that's the market that even we want. Do you feel like the people are saying enough with the me adjusting to 150 watts or 75 watts? Give me something where I pop the coil in the tank, I put it on my mod, and like I said, I push the button or auto draw, and it's going to give me the wattage, whatever that coil represents. Sure, and I think that market is there for even us, the veteran vapor.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what we saw happen, or at least what I saw happen from 2009 was vaping go on this weird technological roller coaster ride of innovation and then uninnovation and then lots of innovation. And, we're getting the temp control and pre-built tanks, and mesh was this big game changer with things like that. And when I think about the very beginning, when I first bought the DSE 901 or the Joytech little 510 stick battery that's this tall, that's 80 mAh,
the ego team.
3 good puffs.
I think about today's disposables or today's pod systems and go, well, this is what I wanted on day one.
Yeah.
And now it's here. So of course people are going to like it. And I don't get it why people shit on pods or shit on disposables. It's like, well, that's what I wanted from day one. Was something like a disposable. If you could have handed me a disposable in 2009, I wouldn't have been a dual user for 6 months or whatever. I mean, you had to really earn it.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, you think about it.
You had to really earn it.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if you had the technology today with the original blue, I think a lot of us would have stayed with the blue for quite a long time instead of making that transition as quickly as most of us. I only lasted a couple months, and I was like, all right, I saw my first kiosk in the mall. I said, oh fuck, look at this shit.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I don't need to carry this little thing around with me with, you know, all these extra parts and this little box and all this other nonsense. I can do this. All right.
Yeah, that's what they had. The Totally Wicked, you know, had basically what was a cartridge. You filled it up with 36 milligram black
PCC charging case.
Right, and I would mix that with the Boba's Bounty, and I would put it in there, and it was beautiful. And then one day, you just couldn't get it. You know, here in Alabama, you know, the e-liquid selection wasn't exactly. Let's just say you had a few, and if those few were gone, you were you were screwed. And yes, Totally Wicked 36 milligram freebase blended with 24 milligram like Boba's Bounty in an Ego Tornado with a little mouthpiece. You know. Question: did you ever look in those, you know, cone atomizers and try and see the little LR like etched in there for low resistance?
Low resistance.
For that.
Feudal. Yeah.
Feudal. But if I was able to dual use over 14 months with, you know, very limited options around here, anybody can quit smoking. At that point, I was smoking so much, and it will be 13 years, the 21st of April for this guy.
Yeah.
Dang.
I want to see if Nick remembers the first video I watched 2 of your videos very early in the beginning. I want to know if you remember my comment on one of your videos, and this is a long time ago, but I called you the Mr. Rogers of vaping. Do you remember that?
That doesn't happen very often.
It was just, you know, I was new to it, and I was just like, wow, this guy is just... He's smooth. He's just very calm. He's explaining everything in detail. And it was like I was watching Nick come through the door, take his jacket off, put it in his closet, come back, sit down, or put a sweater on, come back, take his shoes off, put his fake Vans on. I don't know what he was wearing back then. I think there was some kind of yacht shoe. But but it was just the way you did your video. There was no bullshit. You weren't playing.
We appreciated that.
Yeah, he wasn't playing a character. He wasn't trying to do anything different. I mean, the videos were great. You can see his handwork when he was doing the coils, and he just had this calmness to his voice. And I was just like, this dude is Mr. Rogers. This is Mr. Rogers reincarnated in the vape world right here.
If was your son, you're just like Fred Rogers.
I think Nick, you should start one of your videos like that one day, where you just come in,
change your shirt,
put your shoes. I always wondered if you remembered that. I was wondering if you remember, because it was a long time ago. There
were people you went to see like what, you know, temperature coefficient you need to use for this blah blah blah, and then you go to see Nick, who's gonna have, you know, some damn Star Wars quibble or something going on. It's like
right.
It might not be within, you know, your realm of like what you are into, but you'll tell it in a way that you're actually thinking, okay, I get it. I can follow.
I do like Star Wars.
Yeah, no, that was the thing. That was the thing I liked about his videos, because I felt like I learned something. I wasn't, I didn't have screaming in my ear and doing this and doing all this other nonsense, just shitty fucking camera angles and all this other stuff. It's like, dude, I don't see the coil. All I see is your big chubby fingers. Move the camera, dude. But Nick's videos, seriously, I mean, it was just, I felt like, here you go. I felt like I was just watching a Phil Pizzardo video that was just a lot shorter.
Oh, yeah.
A whole lot shorter.
Videos.
Yeah, I didn't have to have dinner ready and eating my dinner while I'm watching Phil's videos with a glass of wine. I knew I was going to get everything I needed to know in 8 to 10 minutes on his video, and it was just perfect for me. And that's why I continued to watch it, because it was just, I felt like, okay, I'm learning something here. And at that time, it was all new to me. So I kind of had a device, but I made that transition to an open system, and I fell in love with RDAs. So I started watching your videos, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but he used to have some amazing detailed videos on coil building, and he'd have fucking cameras everywhere. The guy had like 6 or 7 cameras on.
Boy, Josh.
Yes. And I was hooked. I was hooked on building coils and learning how to do that. And I've talked about on the show, so that's what I did at night, because that was my hardest point of the day, was, where I really craved a cigarette was at night. So I would grab my drill and I would just start making coils, and I would throw them in this mason jar, and I would make them until I got tired and went to bed. And so it was, I appreciate your videos. I always wondered if you remembered that.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers of Vaping.
Yes, there you go. You should get a Mr. Rogers tattoo. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead, Timmy.
I don't remember what I said, but the fact that I ever commented on any video, yours, I think I commented a couple of times. You were very good about, giving it a thumbs up sticker. And I always liked that, because let's just say I wouldn't comment on just anyone's video. And I think there was something along the lines of, hey, thanks for, explaining all this crap, because
oh boy, Josh. All right, I'm sorry. No, I'm looking up go ahead, Timmy. Tim's got a good question for you. I can't hear you, Tim. Mike.
Got that mute on.
Oh. Sorry, the wiener dogs were barking, so I was trying to spare everybody the agony of having to listen to that. So what my third question that I wrote down was kind of hinged on something that was talked about before. Obviously, we get attacked on both fronts. I mean, there's the base argument that really kind of drives the ain'ts, and that is, the argument about kids. Everybody tends to go down the path of kids. Do you think, or can you foresee any way where we can somehow separate the two, meaning we can have people look at it from a kid perspective and not have it impede or hinder the idea of harm reduction, and how this, it facilitates and helps adults to get away from a deadly habit that they'd had for decades? Is there any way to get people to view it as two separate things altogether?
It kills me that people don't already get to that conclusion, because there's plenty of societal things that are for adults that we make illegal for kids, and then that's just the way it is. There's lots of things. You don't need to draw the comparisons to, like, obviously alcohol's the first and foremost one. And alcohol is just intoxicates.
Right.
Vaping is nicotine. And this is FDA has already said this appropriate for the protection of public health. You can't say that a fifth of Jack Daniels is appropriate for the protection of public health. You just can't. No. You can't say that gummy bear flavored vodka is appropriate for the protection of public health, but we let these things exist as vices for adults, and we make them illegal for youths. And that's, I don't know, period. That's how how they're regulated. That's all we need to do with vaping. Yeah. People just need to see it that way and realize that, alcohol is only intoxicates. That's what it's for. Yeah. It's there to mess you up.
Sure.
Yeah. It's all it's for.
It's there to mess you up. Nobody's been in a car accident from too much nicotine.
No.
That's true.
No.
Not yet.
Hey. Don't give him any firepower.
No, he's absolutely, everything you said is.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the reason why I asked that question is because I kind of spotted something on Twitter today to me that felt like the most ultimate level of hypocrisy coming from the FDA in general, as far as approved products that are pushed out to the public. Now, I'm guessing this thing was real. I didn't actually do any background research and go to the Nicorette website to actually study it inside and out. But I saw this thing with this screenshot. I'm sure a lot of other people saw it, where it was like this Nicorette mouth spray that you can apparently spray that will, and their whole drive was, do you want to quit vaping? Here, use this Nicorette mouth spray. And I thought, you know what, this is just a shitload of hypocrisy all bundled into one big happy, Nicorette burrito, because you already yell at us and say that, we're trading one addiction for another, yet the most detrimental part of it is the flavors, which attract kids, right? But then you're going to go out on a limb and bring some product onto the market with the catch line that it's going to help somebody quit vaping. When I see it,
it is.
I see it, and I'm like, all right, so you tell us that nicotine is addictive and it's the worst thing that we could ever touch in our lives, and you think that flavors are a crock of shit because they don't help us to cessate at all. However, you're going to offer us a product that basically almost aerosolizes something that we vape that is aerosolized, that's got nicotine in it. And oh, hey, by the way, it's fucking peppermint flavor.
Peppermint, baby.
Now we understand what alcohol is for, right?
And I'm not implying that this is something that would certainly attract kids, because I don't certainly think that it is anything appealing to kids. But shit, they've eaten Tide Pods in the past. So what? Sensation. So what are we supposed to get from that? And so I just, and I thought, they brought the two closer together. It's like, okay, here's something that we're technically pitching towards adults that contradicts everything that we say about vaping with adults. And then yet we make something attractive and look, it's got nicotine in it. It even said it in the ad. It said it has nicotine in it, and I'm like, oh, great. So, you just want to pull the sides closer together, which kind of contradicts the entire argument.
Well, I want to see the fucking packaging. Damn it, because I'm going to go after the font and the colors too.
That better be Arial.
Well, I can tell you it's round and cylindrical, and you could probably keister it and get it into a prison. I'm just saying.
It's maddening, and I'm actually very upset about the whole thing. But the truth is, it's a good way to point out that you've got the Lung Association, blatantly making claims that are absolutely false about vaping causing lung damage, and then you see Nicorette stops vaping cravings in 30 seconds flat. And I thought to myself, okay, what socioeconomic group does this hurt the most? And I thought, okay, lower income adults who smoke, and that's let's just say if ever there was something worthwhile to come out of this, would be making that point. And it's really sad to see them message these things simultaneously. You need nicotine to get off of vaping.
Nicotine.
Well, the whole thing is we can trust big pharma. We can trust big pharma. That's the whole thing. It's big. We can trust it because it's coming from big pharma. So they know what
get their piece.
People want to quit vaping. They can quit vaping. I just don't see anyone. There's not really a market for this product.
That could be a concern for some people. I don't know. The Nicorette spray existed on the market for some time now. Yeah, but it's only now that Nicorette's marketing it as a this will help you quit vaping. Yeah. I mean, that's silly, but ultimately, all it really says is that people want to consume nicotine, and if some people if they're just like down with the spray, that's all they do. They wake up in the morning, spritz, whatever. If that's how they consume nicotine, then go bananas.
Oh, look, Jay Johnson. Look, Johnson and Johnson and Johnson. Johnson and Johnson GSK. They've been losing market share now for a number of years, and by changing their terminology or saying now that it's a vaping substitute is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But that spray, I can guarantee it because I used the spray years ago and it destroys your teeth. It is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
I was looking at this came from a Facebook ad from the UK, Facebook UK, and I thought to myself, they don't need this.
Yeah.
But just to say about just the idea that they are advertising vaping cessation products, just my brain falls out. Really?
Yeah. It's like if there is a market for them, then good on whoever wants to quit vaping and uses the Nicorette thing and then stops both. I think what would happen is if someone was a cigarette smoker and then they switched to vaping and then they tried Nicorette, spray in your mouth nicotine, they're immediately going to go back to vaping.
Yes, they are.
Sure. I mean, that's what makes logical sense in my head.
Yeah.
I can't see it being appealing in any way.
Nope.
Yeah. No.
But don't worry. Here in Australia, as long as you're over 12, you can actually buy.
That's insane.
Yeah,
still blows me away that you can buy patches at 12 years old in Australia. That still just freaking blows me away.
In the United States, you have to be 18 because I've seen them all over like Targets, and there's like, for example, you have the decongestant behind the pharmacy. Yeah. Patches and gums are right out in the aisle, right next to the personal care items and intimacy, what have you. That was kind of a strange place when I thought.
Yeah, I got a grandson that's 12 years old, so I'm like picturing him buying patches, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? No, not that my grandfather didn't send me to the store to go buy his pack of cigarettes for him back in the 70s. That didn't happen. Man.
No, there's a reason why vaping works. Is because it so closely mimics the ritual of smoking cigarettes, and there's a reason why patches and gums never work for me.
Yeah, well, that brings me back to my point. My original point is that, I mean, they see that our market is growing. And this is why this product is coming to light. I mean, I don't see this. I don't see them pitching this as an alternative to vaping, like competing against vaping. There's no way. It would not happen. But
John, I think they're pitching it as in a way that makes it look like you
to help you. Quit.
Right.
You're right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if they were to put this market out on the market, competing against vaping, it would never fly. It would never fly. And the only reason it's on the market today is because they see that whatever number, 32 million people are vaping. So here's a chance to make some profit off of this, and let's jump on the bandwagon and get this out here. Yeah. And then who knows, maybe eventually down the road transition that product into a vaping product. So they already got a PMTA for this Nicorette thing. They're already in the door. So that's the scary part. That's how I look at it. I'm looking at it like, all right, they got their foot in the door. They got a product out there. They don't have anything to deal with. They're good to go. Paul, you got a question? Ozzy, I almost said the oi, but I remember you told me that's not good. That's not good to say oi.
Not so much a question, but I want to add something to that. Now that Nicorette is marketing their product as a vaping cessation type product or whatever hell you want to call it, wouldn't they have to change in the United States to do a modified PMTA on that as well? For that product?
Well, they probably were already approved before all that.
But I'm curious now because you're now changing the narrative and the wording.
The intended use, you mean?
Yeah, correct.
That thing is $35. That thing is $35. That's what they're selling that for.
$35 for that stupid thing.
Right. Yeah.
How many puffs does it have?
6 million.
Over 9,000. Don't worry about it.
It's over 9,000.
I really don't know the answer.
Next week it'll be shaped like a 44-ounce soda can. No, I'm kidding.
No, but I'm curious now whether or not they would actually have to change.
See, 50 in Australia. Yeah, so that's about the same amount.
That's Aussie dollars though, yeah.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
which is about 41 US at the moment for a pack of cigarettes.
That shit better have at least 1,000 puffs. No, I'm kidding.
41 cents. I'm gonna come visit.
Okay, let's get back to vaping. I do have a question. Innovation, and this is for everyone. Where do you see innovation going in the next 5 years with vaping? How far do you think we can take it? I love it. Nick's dumbfounded on that one.
Because there wasn't a time in the past where, like in 2012, I wouldn't have predicted that in just 2 years we'd have 30 millimeter 10 mil capacity RTAs running on top of stacked Series tube mechs. So,
yeah.
Who knows? Who can possibly say? I have no idea.
That's crazy.
I'm sure we'll be vaporizing our nicotine.
What was that tank called? Tammy, you have one. 50 mils?
What? No, I got the big steam crave on top of the
steam crave.
Yeah, it's like it's 41 mil.
Yeah, it's 41 mil.
Yeah, I think it's 41.
Bananas.
We call it the water cooler. That's the name we gave it.
The water cooler.
I think I saw some of the steam crave that was 41 on a steam crave square.
Yeah, it's like they call it. It's a PMW. It's a voltage regulated device.
Right. Well, this guy is like almost 6'7" and hundreds of pounds, so it looked good on him.
Probably looked like a toothpick in his hand.
Something like that. For me, RTAs, after building a couple of like really tough ones, getting 1 out of every 20 wickings right, I decided I'd prefer not to, die of a stroke, heart attack, or pull out my hair out at this age. It was really something that I had to get just right, or else I'd just tear it all up and do it all over again. So
I guess that opens up a question for Nick, an opinion question. So being that we can't really predict where the market will be in 5 years, we kind of know where the market is now, and we kind of know what we're somewhat up against. And, it starts to look darker each day, almost all the time. What would you offer to sort of like the off the gritter kind of mentality? Like, how would someone prepare for the potential future, right? Because disposables may not be as easily available. Would you recommend to people to maybe look retrospectively a little bit and start considering the manual method of vaping, like with making a coil and wicking it yourself and potentially DIY?
There's much more cost-effective ways to vape than disposables, or even pods or anything like that. I would encourage anybody to try as big of a variety as possible and see what you like. I'm sure there's people who have tried I bought a Cali burn and it sucked and I went back to cigarettes, or I bought this and it went back to, or I built a coil but I burnt the wicks, and then so try as wide a variety as you can and get something that works. But there's obviously much more cost-effective ways of getting DIYing e-liquid. Is make e-liquid for pennies.
I was just thinking more of the accessibility element of it, right? Because a big portion of the community sort of did and still does rely on the online market. And a lot of people really don't get the opportunity to be exposed, or maybe are intimidated by some of that, what they might consider extremely advanced for them, where we might look at it and be like, oh, it's just a mech mod. You know what I mean? They kind of chuckle it off. But that's kind of like an angle that we try to take with people and try to get people to recognize that there are other ways, because, those items might be easier to obtain at a later point in time. It might behoove you to think that way.
100%. It might behoove you to think that, but I think, think about long term. The problem is, man, it's tough imagine being a cigarette smoker and then trying vaping, and then going, oh, this actually helped me quit smoking. And then the vape shop owner going, oh, good, now you have to defend it.
Right?
What?
What do
you mean? What's going on? Oh, they're trying. What are you talking about? It's like,
Yeah, that's when they open their phone up and go, okay, where's that other vape shop at?
It's unfortunate, but it even comes down to like after the legislation has already passed, and I'll get comments about why can't I get vape mail anymore? And I'm like, dude, I've been talking about this for like a year.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but even people who are subscribed are still, can be out of the loop.
Right.
And I don't blame them because of the incessant onslaught of information that just is fucking, being zapped into our brains nonstop. It's like, who can keep up with all of it? Average vapor may not even be keeping up with flavor bans until they suddenly can't get flavors anymore.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think either of my two kids that do vape would know anything about any advocacy if it wasn't for me. I've been to plenty of bars where I'm sitting outside vaping next to other vapors, and just before the proposition, what do you call it, 30, whatever
31.
it was. Yeah, 31. They had no clue. They had no clue. They all four of them looked at me like, you mean I won't be able to get this if it's bad? I said, yeah, where you been?
Dude.
Where you been? He goes, I've been vaping for 2 years. I'm like, well, okay, one, that's bad that you don't know. Two, I'm starting to think, what vape shop did you go to? Because now I want to know, because that vape shop should have been kind of informing you of what's coming, what's coming. And for them not to do it, it's their livelihood. So if you want to keep that customer coming in, have a laptop sitting there so people can register with CASA, or have a laptop there that people can look up a GrimmGreen video.
I mean, and it's a big ask. Like I said, like, oh, you quit smoking, now defend it. It's like, I think having a laptop open in a vape shop is great. Yeah. But it's like, it feels to me like the equivalent of like if someone has a clipboard and they're trying to get you to register to
save the whales
on a proposition, and you're like, I'm just going in to get ice cream. I don't know. There's vapors that will be like, I'm just here to get.
Yeah, their brains are fried from work. They're coming in.
Or the one we all use. The one we all use. I'll get you when I come back out. And then you do the sneaky shit, try to get around that guy so he doesn't see you.
Yeah.
He's so hungry now.
How to get their stuff and get out and get home. It's just, I'll do it next time. And you never realize that maybe next time that vape shop won't be open.
And not everybody has time for like a cause.
Yeah,
No.
That's true. People have taken up, 5 or 6 different causes, and it's like, oh man, now what do I have to care about vaping?
Yeah. Can I just buy my shit?
To us,
I haven't had time for this cause.
To like the average person, it's like, I don't get it. You used to do nicotine, you still do nicotine. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Remember, it was amazing. Everyone that I know, my entire group of friends, my parents, they were so excited when I finally quit smoking, or found some way to quit smoking, with these little glow sticks that I got, from whatever. Totally, and they were like, "Yes, finally, we can be around you because you don't smell like an ashtray, you bastard." So, not that my company was that great to begin with, but it was really something I never thought I was going to do. I was resigned to, die smoking at 35, and it was incredible. I mean, it really was incredible. And then one day, it was bad, and dark clouds started to, converge.
Right.
I don't know exactly when it happened. I would say that being in Alabama, and you mentioned Dimitri's done amazing things with the Tennessee Smoke Free Foundation. It was actually the what inspired the Breathe Easier Alliance here in Alabama. Mm-hmm. With vape friendly state politicians, you also get a bit maybe cavalier, and you're not paying attention to what's going on in California. Sure. So I've been trying to let the shops around here know it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not in the form of.
I'm not signing your clipboard, sir.
Mark Sills does a pretty good job with his clients, I think.
Yeah, bringing up that question that I just read there, and about the DIY market and the DIY. Do you think that was one of the things that kind of hindered things back in 2015, 2017, where a lot of us were like, fuck it, I can make my own coils. Fuck it, I can make my own e-liquid. And do you feel that kind of hindered things going forward? Because it was just such an ease for a majority of us that transitioned that thought that way. It's like, I know where to get it. I know how to make it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen that mentality kind of everywhere for years.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. People are selfish, I guess. And, if I did a video about there are flavor bans coming and do this CASA call to action and call your legislators or something, and people are like, well, better stock up. I'm like, okay, yeah, stock up, but also do the fucking call to action.
Yeah.
So that maybe you don't have to stock up.
Yeah.
So that maybe
it's not like it's going to be easy to get nicotine forever if that does happen too.
Forever. Like, what's your game plan here?
Right.
It might be easy for you to stock up, but Aunt Edna, who's 72 and has just picked up her Kangar Pro tank, maybe she's not going to be able to stock up on Boba's Bounty or whatever.
Yep.
Right.
Good point.
Timmy.
Yeah.
I know
you want to have a little fun with Nick.
Yeah, go ahead. Give it to him.
All right, so I created this segment just for you, Nick, because I knew you were going to be on tonight. So, admittedly, I stalked your page, so don't hate me for going back into your past. But we all know
which page. What page are you talking
about? The Facebook page.
Okay.
All right, so it's open to the public, so it's not like I hacked this page. Don't worry, nobody's going to get that little email like, hey, look who died with a link or anything like that. So we know that you're a big sci-fi fan and into movies, but I'm a huge music fan. You're also a huge music fan, and luckily for me, and now understanding Philip as well, you kind of fall into the same category of music that I have. So I targeted some music things, and I'm calling this segment Nick, this is your life, the music edition.
The music edition.
The music edition. So I went through and I found some posts from your past. Now I'm not gonna dox you.
Here's where I get canceled. Great.
Yeah, this is it. This is the moment. This is where he has to stand tall in front of the cameras. So I went back and found a few old posts. So we're gonna see how well you recall some of your past and the posts that you put up. So these are all music related. I came up with 3 in case you get one right and one wrong. There's a tiebreaker at the end.
A tiebreaker.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's up. We'll see.
And I have the posts to share with everyone. So if he gets it wrong or he's unsure,
you brought receipts. All right.
Yeah, exactly. I have.
Tim doesn't screw around here.
Yeah, we're gonna get the tea. I can't share in this moment. All right. So the first one, all aimed at music. So we're keeping it to one category. So back on November 5th of 2017, you were obviously
Jesus Christ.
You were obviously sitting somewhere listening to music, and you felt the need to post about this particular band and this particular song, and your comment was, "Yes, love this damn song right now."
I love this damn song right now in 2017. Yep.
I can't give you who you tagged in it, but yes, you named a particular band and a particular song. And I'll give you a clue. You've talked about this band tonight already once.
I was like,
no pressure.
All I talked about was Megadeth.
I could do this to Nick.
Okay, so I heard him say,
hold on, John.
There's a clock. Tim, you're a genius. A scary one.
Wait, what year was what date was this? Just give me the date.
This was in winter of 2017, November 5th, 2017. I'm trying to see if there's any other kind of landmark clues that I could give you. But there's nothing from the commentary that would lead you to an answer. And it was a very rare post from you. I will say you don't always post about music. So this was one of a bunch of posts that were ironically about vaping. I feel
like I post about music too much.
Yeah, it's very, very few and far in between. So November 5th, 2017, you were listening to music, playing from playlist the Vape Tour soundtrack. That was the name of the
Vape Tour soundtrack.
Yes, and you were listening in the family room.
But damn, it's like you were there, Tim.
Because I'm looking at the picture.
Somebody else.
Okay, I thought I knew what it was, and right up until you said Vape Tour soundtrack, because so in 2017, I like playlists.
Yeah,
I'm a playlist person, and so I make playlists for different times, of whatever I'm listening to at that time.
It was Nickelback.
I have a listen, the new Nickelback song kind of slapped. I said that publicly. So that led me to believe that there was one particular playlist that I created in 2017 that I listened to a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a song on there from a band that we've talked about tonight,
mm-hmm.
which was Queensryche. And it was The Thin Line on Queensryche, The Thin Line. Well, great. What a great song. What a great song. But that's on a playlist that I definitely made in 2017.
It's a good chance.
I feel like that's not the right answer because you said Vape Tour soundtrack, and so now I don't know what to think.
All right. So shall we reveal the answer?
Reveal it.
Everybody want to know where Nick's brain was on November 5th, 2017, and what was in his ear holes at that time. So let me present.
Present.
I'm gonna present.
Oh wait, okay, yeah.
Do you know?
Present. Present.
Okay, hold on. There it is, folks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The song he loved that particular day was
really
was "Am I Evil" by Metallica on the Ride the Lightning album.
I did love that song right then.
That's a great song.
Right then.
Great song.
So I'm thinking 2017. God, music was terrible that year.
Okay.
For a soundtrack, yeah.
All right, so I won't reduce the share screen. I can just click on the very next tab to reveal the next answer. So just remember that, Nick, you loved "Am I Evil" from Metallica. Okay. Probably still do. All right, so question number 2. We're going to even go further back into your past.
Okay.
Well, this one he might remember because this was kind of
sharing.
unique.
Just so you know, I don't want you to give any spoilers away.
No, I won't. It's the next tab over, so we're okay. I can just click to the next tab. All right, so this post occurred on July 17th in 2015. Now, I'm going to give Nick a humongous clue because I feel bad because the first one was wrong. So I've got a good inkling. He's a true metalhead, and every true metalhead has a battle vest. Nick, do you still have a battle vest hanging in your closet?
Yes, I definitely do still have a battle vest hanging in my closet. I want to redo one with a big back patch because my big back patch right now is Venom. Okay. I was like, I used to really like Venom. I don't know if I want a big Venom back patch on my back of my battle vest anymore. So I'm retiring some T-shirts that are just too big for me, and I'm narrowing it down as to what new band is going to end up on the back of the battle vest.
Black metal will no longer reside on your.
Yeah, no more Venom black metal.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, but all right. So this post has a little bit to do with your battle vest. So if that gives you a good clue. So back on July 17th in 2015, you created a post that basically said almost yes again. You got some new boss patches for your battle vest. I want to know if you can recall the 3 patches that you acquired that day.
Okay, like your battle vest. Cool, not bosses in
He specifically called them boss patches.
Wait,
finally got some boss patches.
What was the date on this?
2015.
You were 14
July
years old
17. The summer of 2015 in July 17.
Did I have a battle vest in 2015?
You apparently did because these were going to go on it.
A boss one too.
One of the patches was what's that?
Was one of the patches a Cannibal Corpse patch?
No.
Shit.
I would say 2 of the bands that 2 of the ones you list or were shown were older, more classic metal, 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s. I'm not quite sure. I don't know the whole history of that one band. And then one is more recent, within the last,
Patches.
5. Well, this was 2015, so they must have been fresh on the scene at that time.
Shit, I can't remember what I did.
Still very popular today. Actually, all 3 are still popular today.
All 3 are still popular?
Yeah, they've not faded, but they have their own musical segments. So what I mean that is genre type. So one of them was more classic heavy metal. Is that a clue that maybe will help you? One is a little bit more metal, and then one is alternative rock.
Prog, like Rush, only not as good.
No, it's not Rush.
The Poor Man's Rush. Who do I listen to? It's the Poor Man's Rush.
Well, I mean, you've got
Addie's going Metallica, Kiss, and Nirvana.
No.
There's
no to all 3.
No to all 3.
Nick has a very eclectic listening style, so this was a little bit all over the map.
Do you give up, Nick?
I might have to completely give up right now.
Okay, so are we revealing the three patches? And we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out if these three patches are still on his battle vest.
Me.
Are you ready?
Yeah. I'm gonna be
Dio.
Oh, Dio. Okay.
Ghost and Death.
Okay, I was gonna ask if one of them was Death. That would have given me a clue. Yeah. They are all still on the battle vest. Yes.
Awesome.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Ghost has taken a little bit of a turn in the last album, which I thought was great. It was a lot more melodic. Awesome. But see, there we go. Yeast. There's no A, it's an I this time. Yeast. I finally got some Boss patches for my denim vest. Have a metal weekend, everyone.
I can't see it yet, but I believe.
Oh, sorry. I thought it didn't share. Hold on 1 second. I thought it would just move to the next one. Hold on.
No, that's too technical.
Hold on.
Gotcha.
No, because they're making me do it by tab, which is stupid. All right. Nope, wrong one. Gosh darn it.
Is this going to spoil the third one? Oh, okay.
No.
Damn.
I have to.
I
get to preview it before I look at it. So we're
okay. Yeah. You get to preview it.
All right. That was the post about the patches right there.
Dio, Ghost, Death. Yep.
I
remember.
Yeast. Yeast.
Ooh, that's an enthusiasm.
All right. So Nick is 0 for 2. I think he's going to get number 3.
Is this one the next one from 2012?
No, we're coming back up. We're coming back up.
Boxes over here, like guitar pedals.
Yeah.
We're coming back up.
At your second birthday. Like what? How did you
Do you remember?
Were you wearing pull-ups? Well,
who attended your party?
Where were you when "Screaming for Vengeance" came out? No, I'm joking. So the third one. I think he'll get this one because it was a little bit more of a unique experience for him. All right. So there was a time in 2016, November of 2016. You went to a very unique bar/club. And you decided that day that you were going to bring matchy vape devices because of this place that you were going to. And it's not a place in California or up north. On the East Coast, middle of the East Coast, somewhere between Maine and Florida, somewhere near our nation's capital, there's a state that has a city with a very unique.
Tim's going to give you a street address here in a second.
What year was this?
Yeah.
This was in 2016. Nick went to
a
rather well-known in this city, and I'll give you the state, Virginia. You went. You were
Guar. That's Guar Bar. It's got to be.
Yeah,
Guar.
there you go. He nailed it.
Guar Bar.
Yeah. So Nick went to Guar Bar on November 2nd, 2016, and he decided matchy devices.
I'm so glad we got to Guar tonight. I mean, that's just
well, does he have a picture of the device, Timmy? There a picture?
Let me share it. Let's
see what he was rocking in 2015.
Was this specifically for Guar Bar, or was it actually just for the sake? The way you worded it made it sound like you prepared to bring those because of the scenario. Yeah.
All right. So there you are.
What was Nick rocking? Oh,
yeah. I had that was a custom lipo box mod that someone made me.
I remember that.
The Flitzon use blood spatter hexome.
Yeah. And for a minute, I actually had to decipher the post because I thought you were actually headed to a Guar show and brought those with you. And then as I'm looking at it, I saw one of the comments and it said Guar Bar. And I'm like, oh, he wasn't at a show. See the ticket right above the device on the right? Yeah. I thought that was his ticket to the show. Yeah. But
it's
Guar
actually
was
really
evil gory mods.
Yeah, but it's actually really cool. One of the earlier band members of Guar lives in Australia now, and he's in the vaping industry, Steve Douglas.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Cool how everything pulls full
circle.
Steve
Douglas is a member of Guar?
He was, yeah.
Really?
He was the guitarist in Guar, yeah. Back in the 80s.
I like the way you say Guar.
Guar.
Anyway, that was your Nick. This is your life. The music.
This is your life in music.
Thank you for playing.
Thank you for playing.
And sorry for dredging up your past.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I'd like to go back to Guar Bar someday. It's been a long time since I've been there.
Yeah. They were a big part of our life growing up. I grew up in Virginia, so Guar was just part of the woodwork there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I'm jealous. I like I'm obviously a big fan of the band.
Yeah.
I was trying to think when they closed down CBGB's and Sonic Youth had their last show there, but that was much earlier.
Yeah, CBGB's. I never got to ever experience CBGB's.
I never made it there. Yeah.
That's exactly fishy.
Yeah. I remember that first time I saw Sonny and Cher in concert. It was just amazing. I was completely blown away.
Just brutal pit.
Just to see Sonny up there with that porn mustache and the way he, it was just amazing. Well, Nick.
Yeah, this is a normal segue.
Right in from Sonny and Cher and porn mustache right to the outro to Nick joining the show.
I'm a music snob, but when it comes to metal, I can pretty much, I'll admit to loving everything from Dio to Maiden. Yeah. And yes, thank you so much for bringing up Queensryche, which really has made so many people happy, and everyone should check into it.
Empire, I'm telling you.
That opening, that almost like choir boy sort of like.
What a great riff.
Tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. Well, Nick, I want to thank you for letting me check you off my list and you joining us tonight. I want to give everybody else on the show an opportunity to thank you too as well, because we were all really excited to have you on the show tonight.
Oh yeah, absolutely, my pleasure.
Timmy.
Thank you so much.
You always start, the mouthful guy over here. Yeah, no, Nick, honestly, I mean, you've been part of my vape journey since pretty much the very beginning, as I was kind of coming up through the ranks and transitioning from blues to halos to finally rolling a coil and slapping it in it.
Still a good juice.
Just slapping it in a clone from China, and saying fuck the establishment. That was bad. So, but really, you've just been a big part of it. You continue to be a big part of it, and we follow you constantly. And so, just want to thank you for your input into the community, into advocacy, and sort of enriching all of us on our vape journey. And it's just been a pleasure. So really, sir, thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, that's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that very much, Tim.
The wonderful and amazing Allison.
Thank you so much, Nick. Obviously, same to you. You educated me so I could educate others. And, it's kind of surreal for me, like, on a podcast now, and now you're on that podcast. It's like full circle, I think. And
it's cool.
I just, I really appreciate it. And honestly, you taught me a lot, and I'm still learning from you. So thank you for everything you do.
Completely my pleasure. Completely my pleasure. And I like that. That's cool. That's a cool thing to like. You watched my videos and now you're at AVM and I don't know. That's just cool. I think that's cool. Like that actually makes me feel a little bit like, oh,
everything you're doing is working. Yeah, that's for sure.
Thank you. That's cool.
People are listening. That's what you, Philip. You were up.
Thank you for speaking to everyone from me to someone who's never even heard of you with a great deal of knowledge, empathy, and genuine compassion and a real a heart for everything you do. And it's not at all subtle. It's something that everyone can see, and it's really great because Twitter usually is you're going to see a lot of the worst people have. At least you get to read them. Yeah. Everything I've read from you has been really well done. I mean, and absolutely without any kind of, you've been very open and almost vulnerable, on Twitter, talking about everything from, hey, I found the dyslexic button on my phone. Now I can tweet. I thought that was fantastic. And, but mostly thank you for doing what you do the right way and for, speaking to just about everyone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's my pleasure, honestly. Like I heard Logan Exhales. We know Logan Exhales. I heard Logan Exhales a long time ago say, practice radical empathy. And I was like, yeah, like that immediately hit with me. And I was like, well, that's my new thing. So
fucking Logan comes up with some bangers, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. I mean, Logan Exhales. I can't say enough good things about Logan Exhales on every level.
Thank you, Nick. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And, look, we're all on the same team.
Yep.
We're all on the same team. At the end of the day, I'm just a big cheerleader of vaping.
Sure.
And that's it. Like, that's
the Mr. Rogers.
I've seen what it can do. Yeah, I'm the Mr. Rogers. I'll take that. I'm taking that compliment.
And Mr. Paul from the sunny shores of Australia.
You hate the rain more than anything, don't you?
Yeah, he loves the rain down on shit here in Australia. It doesn't bother me at all. But
he's better.
No, thank you for everything that you do for the community, Nick, around the world. And some of the quotes that you've put forward to the public, I've used in some of my speeches and documents that I've put forward to the Australian government. Right. I appreciate what you do. Always been a fan. And you and I have actually sat on advocacy panels over the years.
Oh, have we really?
Yeah. Me, you, Bogan, me, you, Sam, and a few of the others from around the world. And the early days going back to, 2017, late 2016, 2017, when shit was going pear-shaped in the United States after deeming got handed down.
Yeah. Well, the sky was falling.
Oh, well, the sky's still falling. But in certain parts of the world, it's even more fucked up than what it was back then.
I know.
But thank you. And as Sam would say, sub on your dick off.
I knew it.
Look, I'm glad you got that in. Honestly, it's my pleasure. Australia is something I think about frequently because I know a lot of Australian vapors, and the prescription model and like everything that's going on is infuriating. It drives me insane. Yeah. I see Australian journalists talking about EVALI. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What are you
crazy?
Yeah. It just, Again, thank you again, Nick. We appreciate you coming and joining us. And hopefully you come back and join us again. We had a lot of fun kind of getting to know a little bit. We wanted to kind of mix it up, get a little bit of serious, a little bit of nonsense, and have a little bit of fun and get to know you a little bit different. So it's been fun. And again, thank you. And we'll see real quick, everybody, before I hit that button. Next week's show, we are switching times. So the show starts at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, kind of help everybody on the East Coast get to see the show. And those two people up top there who live on the East Coast have to get to bed.
Yeah. They're yawning already.
Yeah. So again, thank you, Nick. Thank you, everybody in chat. We appreciate seeing you guys all there. And we'll see everybody next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Peace out.
Go listen to Ride the Lightning.